call this board meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. on March 18, 2025. We're going to stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark? Okay. Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Here.
Trustee Taylor? Trustee Williams?
Aye. Somebody like to make a motion for Trustee Clark to participate in the remote?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Rowe
Second.
and Trustee Lynch, or Trustee Taylor, said that before. Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the board meeting minutes of March 4th, 2025?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Trustee Lynch. Any questions or corrections? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Treasury report, Brian Jansen.
Thank you, Mayor and residents. The bills payable for March 14th, we have corporate at $254,581.38. Sewer and water was at $196,916.04. Foreign fire insurance was $6,347 even. TIF industrial was at $1,800 even. Glenwood Golf Course, $30,443.23. TIF Halsted North, it was at $750. TIF Halsted South, $2,200 even, for a total funds of $493,037.67. In order to accomplish all of this, we do have a few notable transfers. One is the enterprise fund transfer from sewer and water to corp for $62,373.90, and this is to repay the corporate for the Homewood disposal fees that are collected on a utility billing. And then we had a contiguous TIF transfer of $1,000 from industrial TIF to Halsted North TIF, and this is primarily due to the legal fees associated with the car wash property. Last thing I'd like to mention, within these expenses that you're seeing, we are starting to see some of the ARPA funds that I gave you a recap on your desks up there. So we had invoiced and are paying out $23,230 of the original $681,162 that we discussed back in December. So we do have a remaining balance on stuff to spend for ARPA at $657,932.87.
I'm sorry, Brian. Do you have a copy of that? You got that? Yeah. So we have a motion to approve the bills payable. And then we get into discussion. Trustee Taylor. Trustee Rowe. Any questions?
I just have a question. So, Chief, I saw the status update for the fire department in terms of just operational, but we still don't have anything yet for the fire station.
Not the final, but it is final. What we did last meeting, I reported on, we were awaiting word on the $325,000 grant, which is DCEO. And the day after our last meeting, we got the letter of, what they call it, letter of award from DCO DCEO as a reimbursement for $325,000 on the expense of the fire station 21 rebuild.
So we got an award letter for 325.
325.
So that was 1 of 2, or is it just 1 grant?
That's the one grant. I announced it last week that we were waiting, and then the day after the board meeting, we got notice that we were awarded that to 325.
So we still just don't have overall money.
It's not final out, but we're hanging at that 2.1, so this 325, we're bringing it back down.
Is there any other questions regarding bills payable?
I have just one more. Brian, the 62,000 for home disposal, perhaps my memory is distorted, but I thought that we paid this, the last board meeting, there was a transfer for home disposal disputes.
So that is a monthly charge because the residents are getting their garbage collected every month, or every week, I'm sorry. So every month, technically, we need to be transferring the funds based on the invoices that we get.
So this is the recurring service charge for
Yes.
home disposal?
Yes. And I'm just trying to be transparent for the previous conversations as far as transferring.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So Brian, you mentioned that with the ARPA funds, so the paper that we have in front of us, I see that we spend some on the senior center and we spend some on the sports teams. I guess I'll ask the mayor, so we gave some recommendations on what we'd like to see, et cetera, et cetera. Some of it hasn't been changed, so are these the final numbers of ARPA?
Absolutely not. That's just a wish list that we put in. We had to put in something to make sure that the ARPA funds were solidified through the village of Rutland. And so that's a wish list. Anything we spend in ARPA's got to come through.
I understand, but I remember,
We can change it around.
okay, because I recommended 30,000 like for anti-violence, initiative. I took out, it's 100,000 still for holiday decorations. I think I cut all of that, and everything is still here how it was before.
I guarantee we are not going to spend $100,000 on Christmas decorations. That will not happen. But I agree. But we can change all those numbers around. It was just something that made sense. Any other questions?
So at what point where do we take action with this? Are we going to leave this for follow the election, or we don't need to get into after the election?
Oh, we meet April 1st. So, but you're right. That's pretty much. But we, we'll have a month until May. We can decide on what we want to do with it. The ARPA funds, we are one of the rare communities that has put our ARPA money away into an account. And we are spending on legacy projects. We redid all the field houses. We've done the roof on the senior center. We built the Underground Railroad Memorial Center. So we are spending, it's not into the general fund like most communities have done. They've taken their ARPA funds and put it into their general fund. We have not done that. We're spending on legacy projects and for the youth as far as the money to allow the sports programs to continue for our youth. Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Roll?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
No, and I'm only voting no because we haven't gotten financial update for the fire service.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Steve, Brian, before you do the payroll, can you go over the fantastic fact that our retail tax revenue and gaming taxes are much higher than the 3-year average and also this year?
I can go over it based on my recollection. I did not bring those in here with me, but basically our interfund transfers with the state of Illinois for various things, sales tax, home rule tax, MFT taxes, casino gambling is now a newer one that we're starting to see. We also have video gambling on there, telecommunications, rental taxes. So with all of those taxes in general, we're looking at that we're going to end the year about $117,000, $120,000 over what we originally budgeted. We're on a good track. And when I say that, I'm going to exclude the casino gambling when I say that 120, because that was something we knew was coming, we didn't have in the budget. So kind of tracking that to the side. We have now seen 4 months of the gambling money come in, and we're kind of sitting at the 9,500-ish a month now, it looks like. And that's still prior to the hotel portion of the casino being open. There's still upside. I think they originally projected us at around 11,000. We're not there yet. We didn't budget it for the 11,000, so this is pure surplus to help us pay all the other bills within the community.
Well, it'll probably be even more after we get voted. And I know it's around $9,000 now. So the village has received nearly, this is from your email, $1.4 million in combined sales tax and home rule taxes. That's nearly $103,000 over budget and $127,000 over the last 3 years. So the reason we're bringing businesses into the village of Glenwood to offset our taxes.
Mayor, so the revenue from the casinos is restricted, right? That's only for infrastructure. So is there any specific restrictions on that, John? I mean, is it?
The specific restrictions I'm aware of is it needs to either be spent on pensions or on capital improvements.
So, capital improvement is not just infrastructure?
Capital improvements.
Well, that would include me, right?
Yeah, that would include all this.
I mean, in theory, Deanne, we're spending enough on pensions at the 9,000 level that opens up those dollars to be spent wherever if we wanted to.
No, that's great. I thought it was just restricted to infrastructure, but now that it's open to capital improvement, that changes how they can be distributed. So, thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Payroll.
Payroll for March 7th, 2025, corporate was $145,011.92. Sewer and water, $22,122.14. Paid on call, $13,208.43. Elected positions, $1,071.31. Glenwood Golf Course, $11,454.62. Vendor checks were $1,581.39. Overtime, police overtime was $9,677.36, of which reimbursable was $1,347.85. Sewer and water, $1,225.06. Public Works overtime was $659.65. Economic Development stipend, $461.54. Deputy Clerk stipend $192.31 for a total payroll of $206,665.72.
Somebody would like to make a motion to approve the payroll. So moved. Trustee Lynch. Trustee Rowe. Clerk Williams. Any questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe? Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
The meeting is now open to the public for anybody that wants to bring up their name and address down and you can address the board. Please stay behind the podium and you have 3 minutes. We had an issue a couple of meetings ago, so we're going to follow those rules and those ordinances.
And please speak inside the mic so I can pick it up. Thank you.
Make sure that when you push the button, make sure
It's green. It's green?
it's perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here, I don't know if you guys,
Stay right here. Okay. My name is Valerie Johnson. I live at 916 Westwood Drive. I'm here because I've been having a disturbance with my neighbor who are renters. They've been harassing me, intimidating me, bullying me. I've spoken with the chief several times about this. I've been receiving harassing text messages from her. 30 last year, I did speak with the mayor, but he never got back with me. They're renters. I don't want to leave my house. I don't. It's really getting out of control. It's a very volatile situation. So I'm here asking if I can get any help from the village. My neighbors are rallying around me. They know what's going on. Just when I left, we started from basketball. So we went to court. It was thrown out March 7th. 2 days later, I received harassing text messages from her. I know it's her. She says the same thing that she says to me in person that she says on the text messages. I spoke with the chief because I went to the state's attorney and they told me to go to the police station and get the chief involved. They harassed me when I left home with my mom. My mom was in the car with me. They won't let it go. We have a no contact order where we're not supposed to text, talk, say anything. But yet I'm getting harassed, and I'm a senior citizen. It's like elder abuse. It's like they won't let it go. They won't. I live alone. There's 5 of them, and they won't stop.
I know we have spoken before, and you said that there's a restraining order. And
Yeah.
Chief, can you respond to that? There's only certain things we can do. So Chief wanted to say, and I feel for you.
Oh, I'm going through it.
Yeah.
My family, everybody know my neighbors, and they won't stop.
Okay. Chief, what can we do?
Yeah, I understand your frustration, and I'm not gonna, this is not a venue to get into the details of the matter. As we spoke with the state's attorney, and they explained to you what we suspect and what we can prove are vastly different things. And I spoke to you the other day and advised you that this is going to refer to our investigative division who are investigating it. This is also a situation where we have cross complaints from the other party against you. So without them being here, I don't want to get into a lot of it. Again, you've got my card, my contact information. When I call me tomorrow, we'll follow again. And as I said before, today, if you felt when we were leaving that you were threatened or if it happened, please don't hesitate.
I'm afraid for my life. My family, my friends, they won't leave me alone. You say they have complaints against me. The judge threw all those complaints out.
I understand. This is of course, and it's being overseen by a judge, a relationship between the neighbors. I understand that, your home is your home and it should be respected. This is a scenario where a judge's orders between the parties, both parties, are not being followed, and,
I was saying things to them. What do you mean?
I understand.
I've never said it. I never initiated it.
Well, that's your statement. I understand that.
I really don't.
I think that-
You can see them.
So I actually, whenever you have these videos, please do bring them to the station so we
I'll
can.
look at them. I have a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, all your evidence, and the chief will look at it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We want you to be safe.
Thank you.
Chief, does, without having a vestiture conversation, does any of that fall under the crime free housing ordinance that we have, is there existing dealings?
Chief Alvin.
At this point, no. Because, the main crux of the matter is a dispute over communications and for a while, we were basketball being played too often. That's our main process.
So nothing,
There's been no crimes that are fall under the crime
crime free wasn't that? Okay, thank you.
Anybody else wishing to address the board?
everyone. My name is Mariah Smith, and my address is 518 South Minerva. I'm coming to you all this evening
I
with...
think I know you.
I'm coming to you all this evening with a proposal. I did prepare a small speech. It won't be over 3 minutes. Greetings, Village of Glenwood Mayor and Board. I would like to thank you all for the opportunity to speak before you all this evening. I am Mariah Smith, a K through 8th grade District 167 alumna, a 2014 graduate of Humboldt Baltimore High School, daughter of Glenwood's first Black police chief, and most importantly, a Glenwood resident. In my professional life, I am a 2-time graduate of the Grambling State University and a 4.0 master's candidate at Prairie View A&M University studying community development and urban planning. I am also the owner and director of Miss Black Colorado, Illinois, Nevada, and Oregon. As a product of my community and environment, I feel that I bear a great responsibility to pour into the place that raised me and molded me into the woman that I am today. This leads me to the proposal that I have copies for you right here. I am starting a youth sorority and debutante program entitled Bloom, which stands for Building Leaders Out of Majesty. This program intends to work with young women 1st through 12th grade to educate them on topics such as professional development, volunteerism, college readiness, and beauty and etiquette training. We are searching for a venue to meet 3 Tuesdays per month and would love to use any space and resources that the village may have available to accomplish this new youth program. We would also love the village's assistance in pushing out the word to residents who may be interested. As we've all heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm hoping that the Village of Glenwood can help me in furthering my efforts to create more activities for our youth. I want to show these young women just exactly who they can be coming from a place like Glenwood, Illinois. Thank you.
Well, thank you. By the way, you're a great neighbor.
Oh, thank you.
So, I'm a District 167 graduate too.
Okay.
So we will do whatever we can to help you out, to reach the youth. So
Okay.
we will talk and we'll figure out a way.
Great. And I have copies of the proposal that I
Can
did.
you just pass them out?
Sure.
You have enough for everyone?
I do.
So, Mariah, the only thing you would essentially need from the board is just a facility to host the program that you're trying to do. Is that
Yes.
like a field house or something? And then,
Yes, the field house, the one that's, I think that's the point area. I'm not sure if, what's that? Oh, Hickory Bend. Okay. Yeah, I just moved back like, a month ago, so.
Still at Texas Place.
Yes, I
And glad you moved back to Illinois.
did. Yes, I'm very happy to be back.
Thank you for coming, Mariah.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, everyone. Leon Ward, 318 Blackstone. And I just have a couple of follow-up items. The least one, which is the audit, the status of the audit. We were promised that at the last meeting, well, the meeting before last, is that we would have an update in respect to the completion of the audit. And if we can get some kind of idea as to when that is going to be completed.
Right. Can you answer that question?
I do still have weekly meetings with the audit group. The senior auditor hasn't been and is finishing up her review. She's checking on whether or not we can issue a draft of the financials relatively soon, and I'm just waiting to hear back on it.
So is that like next meeting? I'm trying to get a kind of closure date in terms of, because we're into.
She needs to finish her work before I can tell you it's firm, it's gonna be a date.
Okay, and the reason I raised that is because obviously we're in the process of building the fiscal 25-26 budget, and so we're still, that's a 22 audit that we're waiting on, so we're gonna be doing the current budget, the upcoming budget with unaudited numbers again, and I know that we don't want to necessarily go through that process. Anyway, I like to I stay on this financial side. And the other thing too, when I looked at, I heard Brian indicate that in terms of the intergovernment taxes and the sheet that's in the packet indicates that we're about 82% of the revenues that we expected from the intergovernment taxes. And so, Brian, I don't know, are you operating with a later report with respect to the revenues that we're going to be receiving on an intergovernmental basis? This includes all taxes.
So the other document that's in the packet would be the best document to look at for the intergovernmentals, and it's actually updated through March, not the one that you have that you're looking at right now.
Okay, this is the one that was in.
There's another one that breaks down the intergovernmental by each component in the packet.
Okay, and then looking at the one that was in the packet, based on all the revenue estimates, we have about 72% through February, so we got March, April, so 72%, and I assume based on the update that we will probably get closer into the 90s in terms of the revenue estimates.
So the biggest thing, because this was through February, the end of February,
Yes,
is we just started seeing the Cook County taxes start trickling in. So March is the big month that we're going to see that dollar hit.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, then also in terms of that same report that's in the packet, you indicate in terms of the expense side, and some of the departments or operations are right at the top. For example, the fire department is at 93% through April.
Time for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me go. In terms of, we're just trying to estimate the revenues in terms of, I know I heard Trustee Lynch indicate that are we monitoring the fire department. The fire department as of February was 93% of the proposed budget. And so I'm not sure, it looks like it, and Kevin may be able to address it, as whether or not we're going to overshoot that amount. And if so, you know that it does take a kind of the board approval to move from one department to the other. So I just put that out there as a caution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then in the fire department, we're under realizing we're about 66% of the expected expenses. So that would account for a lot of the overtime, because obviously we're not realizing the top line for the the police department, 66% through February. And so we only got 2 months to go, so I think they're going to probably under-realize that. And so we're going to move that around. Let's see if there's anything else on this one. The other issue, and I mentioned it to Camilla, I asked about some closure on the allegations that are coming in from former employees of the fire department. We wanted to try to get some closure on that report, and you committed there that we will get something to Mr. Donahue that will in effect either close it out, or if there are additional allegations that have to be investigated, that will happen. We know that from the newspapers, we know there was a police report, we know that there was an internal investigation in terms of an administrative report, and I don't know if the board has seen any of that, but we do not have closure on that situation. And
Well, that was over a year ago.
I understand that, I understand the time frame.
And the state's attorney decided not to press the charge.
Well,
So what kind of closure?
the state's attorney, this is all public information. The state's attorney, on day one of the trial, the person coming in for the trial was ready to go, but the reports that are coming in is that the village wasn't ready to go. So the state's attorney dismissed it with the leave to reinstate. That was in the newspaper. So that's all I'm asking. I thought we had an agreement that we would get some kind of summary report for the village. You know, when you see that stuff in the newspaper, it hangs out there. Okay, and see, that didn't get into the minutes last time. We can get that into the minutes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
we have a little bit of misinformation. Case goes to trial, the village is not involved.
Yeah, I know, it's the state responsibility. I understand.
So it's not like the village, when you say the village wasn't ready to go, well, we weren't even supposed to be there. And I can tell you, as far as the case has been fully investigated, and the people who you're talking about, they are acquitted. There were several problems and violations of village policies that generally it's not the best idea for us to make those public. People quit, they're gone, they're no longer here, so we move on and keep going.
No, sir, we have, as a resident of the village is open, it's still open. We're still getting these anonymous letters from former employees alleging some abuses that were occurring in the fire department, and we as citizens deserve some closure. We understand that there are privacy issues that we're okay with, but it's an open issue as far as a lot of people concerned. It's not being stoked by the residents, it's being stoked by the former employees.
They're disgruntled employees.
I understand it, I understand it.
They want, not employees.
No,
They
it's,
want doing the Facebook post.
well, it's more than that coming in.
There is not.
I beg your pardon?
I don't think there is. I haven't seen one post other than, Mr. Brand.
Okay, it's not something that we can resolve tonight. All I'm asking is that as a citizen who sits in this audience, we need to get some kind of a summary closure, just like we did when we had the Chubalo shooting. We got a report from the police department, according to the circumstances, and everything was okay. The community was okay. But if there's,
Mr. Moore, the Fire Police Commission wasn't updated with the investigation at all? You guys weren't looping in and giving the information of resolution or what happened?
no, that's not really within our function.
No, I'm
However, they were looped in, they do have full knowledge.
Yeah,
I do, but I mean, in terms of.
They have full knowledge of the whole investigation, correct, but they don't have any authority in that one.
Yeah, we don't have to, we don't have any authority. Okay, the last one, all we need is some kind of sense of for the community, because a lot of people are still taking those inputs coming in from the former employees. You know, you gotta either put them together, they're just gonna keep on. Okay, the last question I had in regard to Tuscan Gardens, in terms of that, did we lose our money? I mean, because of the,
Absolutely not. We got a first mortgage position and we're in the process of foreclosing.
no, I understand that the taxes were sold,
That's true.
Okay, so that person
We
has,
have to pay off the taxes and, we can sell the place for, it's worth at least $750,000. So if the foreclosure goes through correctly, we do need to pay the taxes. But we're gonna foreclose on the property. We're already started the process.
okay, I can ask the attorney. Now, when a person buys the taxes, then the owner has 3 years to redeem, is that correct?
We can pay them off.
We can pay the taxes,
Yes.
okay, so we can redeem
They'll
them.
be in first position.
I'm just worried about our $250,000.
Yeah, no, the property is worth at least $750,000.
Okay. Okay, that's my agenda.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else wishing to address the board?
How you doing? My name is Daryl Torrey. I'm new to the village, new home. I have 313
What did you say?
Torrey.
Okay.
313
Keto?
North Virginia Avenue.
How do you spell it? Keto?
R.
Okay.
I had a concern. January, we had a real bad rain and my house flooded. The basement flooded really bad. I talked to the village. It was the village's fault. I had to put my homeowner's insurance to get things repaired. And I was trying to figure out what it is that I need to do with you all to oversee some of my bills and things that I had to repair, damages that was caused by the flood that happened in my basement.
So did your insurance company pay for it?
They covered some of it, some of it, but not all of it. I talked with my fiance and I talked with the village, and it was stated that it was the fault of the village, but nobody did anything.
Okay, well, we'll look into it. Joe, Benoit is not here. But, one of the things that we've done is we received a $1.2 million grant from United States Representative Robin Kelly's office. And if you saw the construction by the Chase Bank, that's for flooding issues for the south end of the plaza and also the estates. So that problem should be corrected, and the project is to be done soon. But we recognize that. But see me afterwards and let me know and we can talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So his house is in a floodplain area?
No, he's on Virginia.
So where is the village's responsibility?
I don't know, that's what I was talking about.
Do you know, village administrator, where we are liable?
I'm not aware of the particular situation he's speaking of, but I need some information to see if we're right to put a claim in, if it's something where it's fault of the village, then we have to look to our insurance company as well, so you get some more information on what's in place.
We will get a result, so see me after the meeting. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Okay. Communications from the mayor's office. I just want to go over a few things. It's been placed out there, which is very disturbing to me. The fact that they say I do not live in the village of Glenwood. I was born here. I bought a condo in 1989, which is my neighbor over here, new neighbor. And for people to say that I do not live in the village of Glenwood is insulting. All you gotta do is go down Glenwood Tire Road 3 times a day and you'll see me walking my dog. So if I live in Indiana, what am I gonna take my dog and start walking in Glenwood? Absolutely ridiculous. And I abhor people saying those words, because it's not true. I plan to die in Glenwood, hopefully a long time from now. But also I want to let everybody know, everybody received their tax bill from Cook County. I did too. It went up, the last tax bill was shocking. But everybody should know, the village of Glenwood's portion of the tax bill has only gone up 1.7% over the last 6 years. So you got to look to the other taxing bodies and have only increased it 1.7% over the last 6 years. Our relationships, I'm president of the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. Because of those relationships, we've received over $8 million in federal and state grants. We got $25 million in the bank. And I find it abhorrent, again, that people act like we're broke. And we are not. We are in fantastic financial condition. So we're going to do a presentation, just so everybody knows. We are giving $5,000 each to all the youth programs, the sports programs that's coming out of our ARPA funds. We are one of the few communities that took our ARPA funds and put it into a separate account and are spending it for the village of Glenwood. We're not putting it into the corporate fund. We're not doing anything along those lines. So we decided to take $5,000 for each program, $15,000. I think it's the least we can do for all the time our sports, the parents spend. In fact, a lot of these sports programs, they don't even have any kids in the program. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. So we're going to give away $5,000 in each of the programs. So we're going to start out with Glenwood baseball. Mr. Dixon, come on up.
I like that. It's a Dixon bit. I like that. Take that, man. I don't know. Just don't bring it to the bank. So you don't ask that one. Glenwood basketball, Hawks. This is a former clerk and trustee Hopkins. What's the trick?
I'm in the Hawks position.
Where do you need to look? The next one is the Glenwood Cougars.
Okay.
Thank you guys very much.
On behalf of the Cougars, Mr. Richardson wasn't able to make it, he was the president, I'm just the alumni. But we want to thank you, I'll thank you on behalf of all the programs. Glenwood is still one of the villages that do invest back in their children in the village. And so we do appreciate any and everything the village has done and can do for us. I hope that in the near future, we can have talks on how to enhance the donation program so that it kind of benefits a little bit of both of us and not just for financial purposes for the village, but going back to a time where I think it was more received in sponsorship. So I hope that we can set that up, or I'll set that up with your. It's just too bad.
I think the concession stand is under, painting, and the storage facility with the announcers is going in.
It's been a long time coming. I've been fighting for that for over 10 years.
I agree.
And so thank you so much for finally seeing our vision.
Yeah, the announcers had to look out the window to see what was happening.
We can't wait for 2025. I hope to see everybody out there, as well as all those in the audience, to support your children of this community. So thanks again to the village for doing on behalf of the Glenwood.
Thank you. So I think we should give a round of applause. These people get paid absolutely nothing. They are just volunteering for our youth, for the community. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, attorney's report, John Donahue.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. Two items on my list here. The first item is the approval of an ordinance prohibiting the operation of truck tractors with or without a semi-trailer on West 187th Street.
We've been, everybody knows, obviously, where 187th Street is getting a lot of complaints from residents there, that trucks are going up and down 187th Street from Halsted all the way to Glenwood Chicago Heights Road. So this will eliminate them. It's a village road, so we can pass an ordinance not to allow any trucks going down 187th Street. So that's what this is about. I've gotten numerous calls from residents in the manor that, the trucking traffic is much easier. They can go down to Holbrook and go to Halsted. So they don't need to come to our neighborhood. So would somebody like to make a motion? Trustee Williams.
Second.
Trustee Brown. Any questions?
Chief, if we purchase a surveillance system, I know we don't discuss where it is specifically situated, but would it help if one is not already there, that would help capture some of the license plates of these trucks that's doing that, so that we can better find them and get these truckers ticketed more frequently? Because I really can't have an officer monitor their street all day, but is that an option?
Yeah, that's something we look into.
Okay. Does the system capture, is it set up to capture places that have that functionality?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It depends on what, look and see how the state court feels about us doing that without actually stopping the vehicles, but that's probably something we can look into for multiple orders.
But would it be much different than a red light camera?
I did look into that as far as red light violations are IBC violations, but this is a local ordinance violation, so I have to see, make sure. I think we'll be able to do it, but I don't want to say you can't.
No, I get it. It's something we should explore. It's becoming essential.
And Chief, when you read this, what you find is that you really can't enforce it until we have signs on it for it, as you probably know. Also, what?
Weight classification.
No, it doesn't involve weights. That's, I think, very difficult for the department to enforce, because you gotta go run around and find the actual scale to weigh the truck. So we just want to keep the trucks off the road, the truck tractors off the road, whether they have a semi-trailer attached or not. But we need to have signs up first. And the other part of this is in state law, it provides that if the driver has either a commercial driver's permit license or a full CDL, commercial driver's license, whether we prosecute with our local ordinance court here or whether we go to Markham, the circuit court, those violations need to be reported to the state for any kind of CPL or CDL drivers that do take it.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
I have a question. So if we do that monitoring system, how does it just pick up the license plates from trucks? It picks up everybody. So in the everybody, so you just gonna look at the truck violations, or you gonna look at everybody speeding, or
Because
it doesn't do that?
it's a license plate reader, so we would have to have someone,
Monitor that.
monitor and look for semi-tractors on.
So is that somebody you already have on payroll to do that, or would you have to hire somebody else?
No, that's something we would have somebody, an officer on duty to. We wouldn't create a position sole for that. Unless that's something the board wants to do, but I think that would be, I think we would buy with our staff we have on that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Okay, item two.
Item two is the approval of an ordinance partially abating the 2024 tax levy, the taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2010A, previously issued by the village.
Would somebody like to make a motion before we discuss? Someone, Trustee Lynch, Trustee Taylor. So, what this is a bond that we inherited. The village of Glenwood has paid off all their debt. We have no debt except for this bond that was taken out before we were in office. This should be paid off in 6 to 7 years, and then the village of Glenwood will be debt-free. What this also does is we are, the reason that we're doing this, the bill that we have, we're abating the taxes to the taxpayers. So it's going to have no financial impact on you. We're abating the same amount we did last year, so it will not affect your tax bills. Where should we do it? Oh, we are abating you even a little bit more. That's even better. So that will, it will not affect your tax bill. It might go down a little bit, but we've abated these taxes years and years. So we don't want to put the burden of these bonds on the taxpayer. Anybody have any questions?
I have one, well, possibly two. But if we abate this, Mayor, and I agree that it certainly could potentially decrease some of the taxes for the residents, but does that then now change the amount of revenue that we would receive for the village?
No. We still receive the same sales tax, same real estate taxes and everything. It's just the fact that we're abating a portion of the bond, so it doesn't go onto the resident's tax bill.
So then, understood. So then where does the housing shortfall made up? If we are,
We're abating a total of $746,101.
And we've put that in our budget to pay that. Because we've done it every year
Every year since the bonds existed.
Yes.
I guess my only concern behind it is we pay the shortfall, but does that equate to less funding sort for operations or anything? Because
we budget. Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
I'm just gonna say no because I'm not clear on the allegations.
Trustee Roy?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye.
John, anything else? That's it, Mayor, thank you. Okay, Village Administrator, Brian Mitchell.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. Before I go to my report, earlier this afternoon, I received a call from Cook County Board President Breckenridge's office, and Al just kind of walked in, Al Kendall, so I want to give him a couple minutes for any information that he's coming to share, as I know his schedule is busy, and he kind of comes in and keeps going, so kind of give Al a few minutes, I appreciate it.
I don't think Al knows what a couple minutes are. Come on up.
I think I know what they are. I was anticipating to come up this quick and have my notes together. But first, I want to give out of God, and I want to thank everyone here for various members and the board for working with Cook County over the years. It's been a successful collaboration. But before I get going, the thing I want to do, I'm out of office, Al Kendall, Special Assistant with Cook County Board President Tony Pretton. So coming up on April the 15th, we have a job fair, which we are expecting about 30 to 50 employers. They are doing hiring on the spot. It is our 8th annual hospitality hires. I will be sending the links to Mr. Mitchell, who will be posting it for everyone here, as well as to the mayor. In addition to that, we have under the Department of Environmental Sustainability, we have roughly about $8 million that we've allocated for putting solar homes on those that qualify within the parameters of the program. There's nothing you got to do other than apply and then, meet the specifications. In addition, the president has always been trying to affect the issue of both crime and recidivism and activities that are happening with our youth. And so we've allocated over $100 million to that effort, and to that, we now have $20 million in 2 different sets of applications. So it's important that those that community organizations or others who want to apply for those opportunities, we want you to make sure to do that. And that's part of our Justice Advisory Council grants. $20 million is allocated for intervention. We're working with youth that are having problems, and individuals and families. And then we have another $10 million that have been offered for wraparound services for individuals who are affected by that. The last one, I don't have the information from me, but I'll send it over to Brian, and it is our Creative Arts Place grant, which can be given, and we're looking for collaboration between organizations and the others. It's a grant given to arts and the arts community, because we value the arts community. And in that, it is look for creative spaces that are being worked in collaboration, groups working together that the community can benefit for the benefit of the community. So those are the 3 grants. I want to quickly, without going into the details of them, give you the highlights of it, just so you know. And Brian Mitchell, he will have the details for you. But I want to make sure that the residents know that the president is always thinking about you and about Southland and our community.
Thank you very much.
The president, she does have a radio show that's every 3rd Sunday on WCPT. It's called First Take at Daybreak. The president has a radio show every 3rd Sunday on WCPT from 7 to 8 a.m., of which time these programs and other programs are announced. And our co-host is none other than me. But when we send out notifications and information to you, I thank you, and hopefully I made it within my allotted time.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate the collaboration we continue to keep. A couple things I want to bring up. We're really working kind of heavily with Heritage on the update for police and fire computers with the windows that need to be changed. As well, I've been working on a committee on the bylaws for Econ and Southcom, and we keep talking about consolidation, so that is moving forward. We're just about done with getting those done. The last thing I
Is there any questions for the village administrator? Okay,
I didn't, you sent it an email? Sent what the budget survey? You would have received it in email, and then it would also been sent into your home mail address. We're just talking about the improvement survey, the budget, when we do the review for the budget. The only thing I got to know is more or less my rating of services. Is that what you're referring to? I'll give you a copy of it.
Any other questions? Department reports, plan away, Phil.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I'm seeking approval tonight for investment in our cart fleet. As you know, we got a new cart fleet last year, and the technology has come a long way. Some of you might recall we had this tracking device on the previous fleet back in 2015. And the technology's come a long way, as well as some more competing bids. The gist of it is seeking approval for a 5-year lease agreement for annual fee of $22,200. That's $300 per cart per year. The company is Fairway IQ. Again, this would be to protect our investment in the fleet and highlight some of the things it does. The ability, it will store data on the cloud, so it will track carts, whether they get damaged, stolen, it will track these carts, even when they go places they're not supposed to go. This is real-time data, and it is stored on the cloud. This will integrate with our current T-sheet to enable us to get real-time data. If carts are going where they're not supposed to, we'll get notification instantly through your cell phone, text message, anything, and we're able to respond very quickly. The big things that's come along is the ability to, with these springs, is to sell ad space on it. There were some of the estimates you could see in there, and we're comfortable with selling sponsorships. It's basically you sell like 15 minutes per round, so you can sell up to 16 slots, and that ad would play for 15 minutes through the entire round of golf. So I don't know if some of you guys are aware, we already have a database we could tap into, as we have benches out there on virtually almost all 18 holes. But we have some we could reach out to current vendors that I think would be interested in getting onto these cart screens for more exposure. And with that, also it works, as I mentioned, it works like a Ranger Starter. So payroll savings would be immense, as well as the selling the ad space to pay for this on an annual basis. I also have a couple of our committee members here if anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Good evening. So it sounds like this could possibly pay for itself. So how much, hypothetically, I don't know if the committee has discussed what the price of an ad would be?
So it was in the packet. They start at $1,000 for a banner, to $2,000 for a full page ad, and $2,500 for both. Yes, I do see we could essentially pay for this out of this ad space. And let's say it doesn't work out with what we do have corporate sponsors through actual Fairway IQ, so which would be a 50-50 revenue split. If we can't sell for say all 16 ads, we can go to them and say, okay, they could sell to national sponsors and fill those spots up to with a 50-50 revenue split.
And then I have one more question. Even though I haven't heard, have any of the carts ever came up missing or reason to track them?
We had some, I'm going back probably to mid-2010s, there was a attempt to steal them, and they did have these tracking devices on them, not exactly per se this one, a different one, and they were able to locate them in the ditch down the street.
Trustee Roll, I can add into that. Phil probably know exactly when. I know about a month and a half or 2 months ago, we did receive notification from some other golf courses where
there was a crew that was going around that had actually sold off cart, so, that was a heightened alert to us, so it has happened. Just
They're very high alert over the last couple of months.
So would it, outside of, do we currently sell any marketing space for the golf course or any type of platform where
We have the benches that are physically on each hole that are, that the company sells. We don't pay for the cost of the benches, but we could, as the course, we could reach out to those same vendors and ask if they would be interested in additional ad space on the actual carts.
have we got any interest up until this point from any of those individuals for potentially marketing on the benches?
Well, we haven't reached out to them as of yet.
So I get it, have they ever reached out to us to see if that's something we'd be interested in doing or have inquired about it at all? I guess I'm just trying to gauge what we currently do, what we currently receive for marketing or promotion, whether it's intentional or just curiosity or if it actually happens versus, what the likelihood of it increasing now with these GPSs.
It's essentially like an iPad on each cart. It's going to be right at eye level, and it's going to hit you all the time because all the golfers will look at it because it's going to show the map of the hole, where you're located, what your yardage is to your targets. It's going to have all that information too, and all of a sudden it's going to pop up. Okay, Gabe's Place, come by for lunch. I'm just throwing something out there. So yes, it's going to hit the golfer, and that can be attractive to sponsorships.
So, do we know any other golf courses that utilize this?
Yes, there's courses. Most of them are upscale courses. Again, this is to enhance the golfer experience. As you all know, we raised rates again back in January, so this is a nice added feature considering we went up about 10% on it. It's going to have, because we get asked all the time when people call, they ask for the rates and said, do you have GPS on your carts? Some of them started. So now it's something we can actually advertise that we have it in there because it is an extremely advanced enhancement to your experience on the course.
So in terms of maintenance or just updates, what have you, repairs, is that an additional cost to the original purchase, or is that?
No, we would just essentially lease the software and equipment. They're covered, fully covered for the whole 5 years. And they'll even if they happen to, I don't see us rolling into it in the 5-year period, but if we do, they will do one flip to the new fleet as well.
Are they willing to do anything? Is the 5-year the standard, or is that the smallest amount?
The 5-year gets you the best price. It was $340 a year for the 4-year, and I think it was close to $400 a year for only a 3-year term.
So essentially, it's a tracking device and also a marketing tool.
Correct. It's a tracking device. The GPS unit is under the seat, and the screen is just to enhance the experience and the ability to sell ad space on.
Mayor, can I ask Mr. Martin a question? Sure. Mr. Martin, does the committee have a recommendation on these?
Yes, I do.
Chairman Martin. Chairman Martin, I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Chairman. We read it as a committee, so,
Well, come up, I can hear you, Mr. Martin.
You're actually walking okay after that injury.
Yeah, right. Howard Martin, 405 Dante, been here 39 years, appointed by the mayor as chairman of the golf committee. It's GPS. Most courses have GPS. We had GPS. So when people get around the greens, it cuts off, but it started draining the previous carts that we had. This is advertisement that's going to make sure we paying $22,000. We already have 18 benches where people advertise. We can go to them and they can pay for the cost, which it might not be, we're paying $22,000 a year, it might not be as much because they're gonna help subsidize that situation, but it keeps the cars that we paid $500,000 for to the situation that we can monitor them very closely and keep people off, because even though Clinton Woody has a lot of people that come around, a lot of people don't play golf, they want to run up on the greens and monitor the people that are actually riding in the cars, which is a very important situation.
Let me ask you, Mr. Martin, just as it relates to,
Please call me Howard, come on, yeah, we know.
okay, as it relates to just the GPS tracking portion of it, do we do anything currently in terms of maybe a credit card hold or anything for the golfers play at all?
So when they come in and get a card, do we get a credit card from them to do anything like that?
Yeah.
No, we do not. We give them a key, and again, we track who's coming in, so we'll know this. And with this system, the monitor, the guy at the start itself, and as well as in the golf course, we can find out what's going on. And again, as Phil said, we will probably not have to have 4 people out on the golf course, we need to have 3. And we can monitor the situation going forward.
And so, Phil, how would training work for golf teams to use this? I mean, would it be required to use every time, if I would play golf, do I have to use this to use?
No, it's automatically in the system, and so we can track the cart where it's going and all of it.
No, I mean, what's in terms of the GPS and understanding the...
Oh, yeah, that would be a piece of, you just click on it, it will show you the course as a whole, and how, when you start playing, how far is it from the greens and things like that. It will show you the shape of the greens and go forward.
So I'm assuming, Howard, your recommendation is to move forward with...
Of course, because it's going to be a cost saving not only for our carts, but we can track how many times the cart goes out, and so because again, you have to track these carts, you have to put water in them, you make sure the battery's going good, and all like that, so.
Does it track that also?
Yes, it does, it lets us know. So, any other questions?
That was one other feature that I mentioned. The memo was the ability to know battery usage on the carts, so you can easily rotate the fleet. So you know if one cart in particular has been out more hours than the other ones, it's much easier to rotate that. Because there's no way to track that currently.
Right, again, our batteries for those carts, I mean, there's 7 of them in it, they're $1,500 a piece.
Yeah, I know we just bought those cards.
So, okay.
I have some questions. Either one. Yeah, either one they can answer.
Okay.
So it's different questions, okay? How do you get the advertisers?
Well, we already have the advertising because if you've been out to the golf course, we have new benches and advertising is on 18 benches. So all we have to do is go back to them and after, would they like advertisement on our screen and go forward. I think Phil brought up Gage. So we can go to Gage and say, would you like to do this situation? I'm not saying it's guaranteed. And again, we haven't went out and sold it to them because first we got to get it approved by you guys. And we're not going to go to a particular establishment and then you say no and we got egg on our face.
Are the tablets water resistant? Because I see some golfers out there in the rain sometimes. Are they water resistant?
Trustee Brennan, there was one picture, if you saw in one of the photos in there, it's the Fairway IQ, the ones we're looking at, is completely enclosed in a waterproof case.
Can we get the GPS without the case, without the tablet?
You certainly can. You just lose the ability to sell that space.
Okay, so how much would that be? Would that be reduced from $22,000 a year if you just did the GPS portion?
Yes, it would be less. I can't remember because we discussed we were going to go with the touch screens, but if I remember, it was about $150 a year per car just for the tags.
Again,
So essentially, that price.
But again, GPS only is old technology. This is new technology.
Do you have GPS on the cards now?
No.
Okay.
We had it before, and it drained the batteries out, and again, life of the carts is like 5 to 7 years. And again, we just got these new carts last year. It cost us $500-something that was approved. So we're trying to keep them going.
Just with anything, the technology's come a long way. So now these units will not drain the battery until the cart is actually being used. So when the key is turned off and the battery's is not going to pull, these tablets or GPS will not pull any any energy from the batteries. So it only drains once the cart's moving.
And I guess the most important question, this is 110,000.
No, it's 22,000 a year.
Well, if you multiply it times 5, 22,000 for 5 years?
Yes, it's just 811,000 in full investment.
Correct, that's what I was calculating.
Right. Which is well within our budget.
Talk budget. That's what I'm going into.
Right.
How soon do you want these installed, and where is this built into our budget?
This will go on next fiscal budget. The earliest install we could get, if it's approved tonight, is middle of May. Obviously, we hope to get them in sooner, but we have to fall in line with the install dates they have. Essentially, by first in May, that's when the season's kind of kicked off. So you'd like to get them installed as quick as possible.
Right. But if you look at our budget over the years, we came in under the budget, and we're already, from our standpoint that we calculated, we're looking at a 375,000 surplus. We've never run a deficit at the Glenwood Golf Club.
Is there any other question for Chairman Martin or Phil?
Thank you,
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the 5-year lease agreement with Fairway for $22,000?
Mike Clark, I'd like to make a comment.
Come on up.
My name is Mike Clark, 346 North Virginia Avenue, 52-year resident of Glenwood. I'm on the golf committee. I've been playing golf in Glenwood as long as I've been here. One thing that we're not discussing here is the safety aspect of this. GPS, as we talked about, that have shut the cars off. We have people out here that really don't pay much attention to what they were told in the pro shop as far as where they should go with the golf cart. And if you're familiar with the course, if you get over to the 11th hole, the 16th hole, the 12th hole, you have people in that golf cart running diagonally down that slope, which is about 80 degrees. If you flip a couple carts over, then we got problems. This particular application here will help prevent possible damage such as that. One other thing, we have people that drive through when they're told to stay off the fairways. They don't pay attention. You have a lot of maintenance as far as filling in the tire tracks. So you have your ground crew spending time other than what they should be doing, trying to fix, repair, shop, or repair. For example, right now, you can go over to Glenwood right now and play. You can get a cart, stay on the cart path, and if somebody sees a small puddle of water in one of our cart paths, and they're immediately in the middle of the fairway trying to avoid it, they think they're going to sink underneath the water. The investment is well worth the money. It really is, folks. I can guarantee you that.
Thank you.
I guess, my only concern, well, I have a couple, but if we need a GPS, the carts sound like they need GPSs, but then the tablets will be playing ads all the time. To me, it's just like texting and driving. So if they're driving a cart and the ads are constantly coming up, what if they miss a pothole because they're looking at the ads on the screen instead of worrying about where they're going? That's what I'm trying to disseminate in my mind.
There is obviously a driver and a passenger in each cart. And speaking from experience, they're golfers, they're looking for their golf balls, they know where they're going. They're going to look at the screen when they actually want to look to get yardages, distances, or notifications from the course.
But it's probably a split screen too, where the ads are probably sectioned off. It's not.
There's a couple different ways. There's a banner ad which just goes along the bottom, and then you could do pop-up ads, and when they just pop up when you get to a certain hole, certain location. But it disappears within a few seconds.
Would Would somebody like to make a motion to enter into a 5-year lease with Fairway IQ for $22,200 annually?
So
Trustee Lynch, who was the second? I was second. Trustee Willow first? Okay. Trustee Lynch is second. I'm looking forward to this because it's going to take a few strokes off my score. Let's call roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Rose?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
No.
Is there any new business?
I have one. Chief, I know we talked to you about this, for one of the tickets for, at least George got a ticket, but you know, a few residents last couple of days got tickets, even those who are registered here for overnight parking. But there are no signs that says no overnight parking, you know, if you're not a Glenwood resident, for visitors to know. And I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of that. If I was told, I completely forgot, but I think we should look at putting signs up.
I'll double check, but I believe there are signs at the entrance and subdivisions. I'll double check on that. This is ordinance.
Yeah, I know it's all, yeah, I'm sure it is, but I think it would be good to have some signage up or probably figure out a way to communicate that.
I'll take a note of it, but yeah, I'll work with that, see if there's any more signs. I know that this is, every local court hearing, it's a common defense, right?
Yeah, I'm sure, but I think we should, if it's not, we should at least have something else communication.
Is there any old business?
Yes.
I guess going back to new business, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Are there any festivities for Easter? Usually there's a Easter egg. I don't think we talked about anything, but there's a lot of families and children that look forward to.
Plan an Easter egg hunt, create venues, parks. So we plan to do it Saturday before Easter. I think it's good at
Any other new business? Old business?
Sorry, I just wanted to remind everyone, Glenwood is doing a Mother's Day buffet. Root card holders, residents are getting 20% off for the root card holders, 20% off the Mother's Day buffet. 2 seatings, 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And it's pre-paid reservations only, so you just call Glenwood and press option 5 and leave a voicemail and we'll get back to you.
It's a fantastic buffet. We did it for a few years and then COVID came up, so we stopped. So this is the first time we're doing it again. So thanks for the advertisement. Any old business?
I have a quick question about branches and trees that are falling. I know we have a branch pickup. I never make it. I don't know when it is from my side of town. But there are a lot of branches and trees that have fallen in yards. So are we doing the normal pickup that you put by the curb, Brian? I'm sorry. Village Administrator Mitchell?
Yeah.
Or, so I've taken some pictures, Joe has been great, I've taken some pictures of trees literally that are falling like on my block in yards and he's picking right up. But when does the branch pickup start?
Yeah, I'll send it out to you. Let me see if I can pull it up now. I think it started on, they've already started on the west side of town.
I think it starts at 8.
Yeah. Because a lot of residents are complaining about branches and fallen trees and
I know for a fact they were out today. I wish Joe was here to admit that his team is doing a fantastic job, especially with those replacement of sidewalks and driveways that were requested for water main breaks. They've been out doing a fantastic job getting those repaired.
Is there any other new business? Is there any old business?
Yes. I have a few. Chief, where are we with the traffic reduction, traffic calming study? I know that she presented it.
We are still in the information gathering process. We had a Zoom meeting with myself, the DPW director, and the village engineer got some, we're taking measurements, we've got some potential site locations that we're looking to have these potentially put at. Waiting for a quote. We also have a field trip for planned for early April to some of the communities that do use these. They are Maryville, Indiana. We conducted a survey around South Suburban, about 80 towns in the South Suburbs. Only 2 use them and have reported back to me. So
Is there specific ones that you're referring to?
towns are
The devices that you said.
we're looking at speed cushions and tables.
So those are the ones that can be removed
Yes.
during this winter time?
Yeah, what they're talking about is, obviously speeding has been an issue in town. So these would be movable speed bumps to slow people down. So the chief is doing a study on it.
And then, village administrator commission, where are we with, last week we had the presentation for the digital platform and the solar lighting. When will that come back to the board?
Right, still come back to the board, I'm still waiting on contracts to come back, but one thing that we can discuss further is on the solar lighting. You know, we identified an area for a pilot program, we then have to see if we want to stay with that pilot program. If not, then we need to decide whether that pilot program will be those 5 lights, and then kind of come back and move forward.
So what was the area for the pilot program?
We used just as a sample, it was right by the school on Bow.
Could we also look to see what the cost would be for the installation of the current lighting that we have, as opposed to, so we have some comparables?
When you say current lighting, are you talking non-solar?
Yeah. The existing structures that we have now, just so we have comparables to see, what might work better for us.
No problem.
And then, I had one other thing, I was gonna ask about the audit, but, Mr. Moore, did you see this go? That's it.
Okay, and just if I can, Mr. Mayor, take a step back, the pickup for, the branch pickup starts on April through October. The east side of town is the first Monday of each month, and the west side of town is the second Monday of each month. So that kind of gives you a schedule. I would like everybody to take a look at the website, if not, I'll print them out for the next meeting, so that you take a look in terms of what constitutes branch pickup. In the past, we had people that had entire trees cut down, the tree company then puts it at the curb, and the public works company said that doesn't qualify. So make sure that what you put out makes qualifications for the program.
And 2 other things, Ryan. I'm sorry, would you make sure that you, one, I know you typically have this problem with maintenance. Is there a possibility to kind of jumpstart this with the mediums on Halsted? State, I know it's the state, but they're always slow to come and maintain that, and it just starts to look horrible as the summer starts to roll around. Is there a way for us to get on top of their list?
Yeah, that's one of the things that not only getting on their list, but that's one thing we've gone out and sprayed ahead of time.
Yeah.
Part of it is that with us having the license to spray, we're trying to say, you know what, let's get it killed before it grows. Because as you know, it takes them a while to come out. So we've already started communication and talking about it.
And then Chugga, as when are they supposed to close for the change of ownership?
I haven't received it yet.
They tell you how long?
I want to say they were trying to do it in a couple weeks.
Just so the residents know, Chugga is a rooftop deck, as everybody knows. They're paying to close it. So they're gonna have a little retractable dome on the top, so they're gonna close for a little bit in order to prepare that. So it will help out the residents on Virginia, and Roberts, and all over. So, that should be going soon.
And I'm sorry, one more thing, I noticed that, is where do we get the car wash? It doesn't sound like the exit,
As far as what?
I mean, where we stand with that, are we?
They're ready to close on the theater lot.
Okay.
So we're just talking about Delta Sonic. I mean, I have a monthly pass there, I'm sure a lot of people. It's very difficult to get in and out of there. In fact, there's some accidents because as you pull out of Halsted, you know, your tires are spinning, etc. So they bought the theater lot, which is right behind Wendy's, and they're going to expand the employee parking back there, and then they're going to build a structure for people with like expensive cars, like Corvettes and things along those lines, that they can go in there and detail them and things along those lines. So that when are we going to close on that, John? Soon, right?
Well, that's just the fact that this week we have back on the side contract, it's not, there's some changes. We'll look at those. I'm sorry. We just last week, we received a signed contract from Delta Sonic with a few changes. None of them really seemed that major to me, so I think we need to circulate that internally, make sure we're okay with it, and bring it back to the board for another approval of those few revisions. And then I believe it will close.
Are they, do they have the same operating hours as Delta Sonic?
So is there any other old business? Okay, I'm going to do a couple updates before we close out here. You'll see some activity behind Chug-a-Lug. They're building as everybody knows, a pretty popular place. We sold them a tract of land behind there for parking, so that should alleviate some of the parking issues. The building that's behind Chug-a-Lug, go by their construction has started, and they're going to be doing the outside now. They were doing the inside, now they're going to do the outside. And to the south of that, there's going to be a family fun center with indoor go-karts. We're going to have some bowling lanes and video games all for the kids. So you'll start seeing probably this week on the south end of the plaza. The Wingstop next to the expanded Aldi, they had a little supply chain issue because everybody sees the structure's up. But they are going to start construction on that again soon. They said within the next 1 to 2 weeks, there will be a Wingstop and a Jeff Pizza. On the other side of town, we are in serious talks with Speedway closed down many years ago, and Speedway sold to 7-Eleven. So we're in contract negotiation with them. We have a lot of interest in that site for a restaurant. So we are doing our best to negotiate with them. They're a large corporation, 7-Eleven, but I think we're close to settling with him and Jeff Fink that owns the property right next to them as you come off of 394. So we're close to that. And we've gotten a lot of inquiries for the 394 on Glenwood Road property. But it's all been trucking. We did have a data center that's interested in it, but most people come in saying they want to put the trucks at 394 on Glenwood Road. I live 2 blocks from there. There is no way. Every trucking company that's come to me asked to put a trucking terminal there said no. And I will continue to say no. So thank you, everybody. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Trustee Taylor and Trustee Williams. Clerk Williams, call roll.